Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Yarnflakes podcast. My name is Audrey and this is a podcast about knitting, weaving and all of the kinds of yarnings from the southwest of France. Welcome to all new and returning viewers. This is really nice to have you here to chat about, knitting, a couple of finished objects and a really nice new cast on. I will also have teeny tiny bit of weaving, and I want to end this episode by sharing some yarn show and talk about possum fiber. Timestamps to all those different sections will be in the description down below, so if you want to skip anything, feel free to see that. There will also be links to everything that I talk about and my social media patterns for sale on Ravelry and Etsy shop. I think I said everything. And before I start, I have a little announcement to make. There will not be a podcast episode in the next couple of weeks. I won't have time to film. I won't have a quiet, long enough time to film in the house. But if you're looking at what I'm wearing, you might be wondering, Audrey, you're wearing obviously hand-knit sweater. What is it? Well, I have filmed a special video. It's a new type of video that I will be having on the channel, and I really enjoyed doing that video, and it's all about that sweater. So I should put it online sometimes next week, maybe Friday, I don't know when I will be able to do that, but yeah, look out for these new videos, and yeah, can't wait to see what you think about it. Is that makeup okay? You might have noticed that I don't think it was last episode, I think it was the episode before, I also had some kind of eye makeup. The reason for that is that I'm testing options for a wedding I have to go to, but it's just that I will not be able to bring like my go-to makeup because it's a naked palette, so it's quite big, and I can't bring that on the plane. It's already broken anyway, so there's no way I'm making that do the transit. So I'm trying options that will be more transportable. So yeah, I don't know. That seems a bit orange for me. Yeah. This isn't a makeup podcast. Let's start with knitting. I have two finished objects, and the first one is finally the Molly Weasley socks that I started last December. Yeah, mid-December. So these are officially the longest socks, as in they're the longest I ever made, and they took me the longest. Yeah. Vanilla socks, I guess I'm getting a bit tired of it, no matter how amazing the yarn is. This is the Molly Weasley colorway by Nomadic Yarn, and I think it also has to do with how I knit them. I knit them on short circulars, which are okay. They do hurt my hands a little bit, and I am very slow on them, so I guess that's not helping. But yeah, I made a tube and then an after-thought heel, and they match so well. I'm very proud of that. And yeah, this is her twisty sock, I believe, 80/20. And I have managed to use 80 grams of the 100 gram balls, which is more than ever because I usually only use 55 grams of 100 gram sock yarn. So I'm quite happy that I persisted in making those extra long so that I can enjoy that beautiful colorway. But yeah, like I said, maybe a couple of episodes ago, I don't think I'll be making any new vanilla socks soon, unless for gifts, because yeah, I have so many beautiful sock patterns in my queue that I want to make. I also have some design ideas, I love to design textured for socks. So yeah, vanilla socks, they're fun. I do have a lot of self-striping, and for me I prefer to do vanilla on self-striping, though there is a few patterns that really work for self-striping, especially patterns from Mina, the Knitting Expert Designs, that I kind of want to try, so we'll see. But yeah, vanilla socks, and I now don't have any socks on the needles because it is really sweater central here. So yeah, I guess I'm taking a little bit of break with the socks until I feel like it again. Putting on the second finished object. They fit. I tried them on. Yes. The Wishmaker Mitts, which is a pattern by Erika Huser. I finished the pair and I am super happy with them. They fit really well, they're snug. They will definitely expand a little bit with time as I wear them, but right now they are the perfect fit. And yes, so this is the second one I made, the left one. And I found that my tension was much better. So much so, in fact, that they almost look, it's not so visible when I'm wearing them, but when you look at them like this, it actually looks like it's a different shard. I actually wondered if I didn't mess up something. Because look, that one, I don't know, the dandelions looks more, taller. They look taller, they look smoother, and the mittens are actually, the mitten is actually longer by a bit. But yeah, I mean, my tension was better, so that's a good thing. You remember last time I talked about that bad tension on one color making it dominant, and I think that I definitely improved with the second one. Apart from, even though that's a bit better, but I still have some wonky stitches at the edges where you magic loop. And thank you so much, someone in the comments, I'm sorry I don't remember your name, you mentioned that I actually should just flip a couple of stitches when you magic loop, you know, the way you do it when you don't want to have ladders in socks. And yeah, it's just such a simple trick that I sometimes do for sleeves when I notice that I have a yarn that, yeah, at a loose gauge, so it's gonna be a bit weird if I keep magic looping at the same spot. But it didn't come to my mind to do it with that. So thank you so much for that comment, and I will I definitely want to cast on the Salvo mittens next, so I guess I will try to do that and see if that makes an even better tension at the edges. But really, when you're wearing them, it doesn't matter so much. I really like them. They're lightly colored, they're fresh and nice and warm. Can't talk today. I've been, I was afraid that I was going to be sick because yesterday I had a really bad throat ache. And it's kind of gone today, but I know that when I actually get a cold or the flu, it starts with a throat ache, it goes away a little bit, and then bam, the actual sickness strikes me. So yeah, it's not hurting now. It still feels a bit swollen, so I definitely think I have something. And our poor puppy Nessie was super sick yesterday all day. So if there's a lot of cuts, it's because I keep going and checking that she's okay. And once I finish filming this, I will go and stay with her because poor thing. Yeah, hope it's nothing too bad. But yeah, what was I saying? Yes, the yarn you're using, Audrey. This was Drops Flora, which is a wool and alpaca blend that is a little bit woolly, hairy, so it's sticky enough to make a decent color work, and it's really soft as well. Some people feel that Drops Flora, Lima, and Nepal are like super woolly rustic wool. I think those persons never touched rustic wools. Because yeah, this is rather soft. It's sure it's not merino, superwash merino soft, but it's not Shetland wool either, and it's not even, you know, sometimes you have lamb's wool that are quite rustic. It's not even that. It's softer than Dererum Natura, I feel. Yeah, I think to me it's even softer than Cascade 220, but that's because of the alpaca. And for me, it makes it softer, but if you're sensitive to alpaca, then yes, it definitely might be a bit itchy for you. That's not the case for me, so I'm just enjoying this easy colorwork yarn. And so I've used the natural Indigo and Amethyst yarn as the purple, and I'm quite pleased with the result. I'll show you my floats. Flipping the thumb over. So where's the ugly part where I sewed in ends here? So yeah, you know when you have lots of little tiny stitches, it never looks really fun. But this is pretty nice, and this is the palm motif, which is completely even, so it makes interesting floats. Nice and snug. The yarn tacked to herself when I blocked the mittens, so yes. It does not do as great of a job as Holt Super Soft or I'm guessing Norwegian yarns, which I really want to try. A French website, Laine Tricot, which they ship worldwide, and they have a pretty good shipping rate for European Union. They now stock Rauma yarn. So that's great. Because Isolta does too, but it's quite further away, so there's a shipping cost for me in France. That is okay, but not as good as if I can get them from a French retailer. So yeah, maybe one day I'll be able to try the Finnegarn yarn. That would be nice. But yeah, second FO. So I've been working on my garter chevron blanket really slowly. I don't know what's up with me. If you remember, I was able to make a couple, like 2-3 repeats in 2 weeks, and I've been working on one repeat for the past 3 weeks now. So yes, I need to work a little bit on that. I've also kept working on the body of my Windfell sweater, but as this is just stockinette and it hasn't advanced that much, I will not be showing it to you today. But I have a new cast on. So I was working on this in secret, and this is a DK weight sweater. So once I finish this, I was considering starting either Susu by Nora Gowan or the Zweig sweater by Caitlin Hunter, which I really want to make, and I think it will be my next make. So I was completely, either one or the other. I ended up casting on the Susu sweater just because my Windfell sweater that I'm still working on is a fingering weight. So yeah, my idea was to juggle with weight. Yeah, I decided it would be better to have a fingering weight sweater and a heavier weight rather than 2 fingering weights at the same time. So I will start my Zweig when I finish my Windfell, but for now I started the Susu, and it's this beautiful asymmetrical loose cabley moss stitchy sweater. And so I got the pattern. I'm a bit... I'm not sure I understand the construction of it completely. The thing is, I didn't see a schematic anywhere, and I think it would have been useful to have a plan of the different parts that you knit and how you join them together, because there's some point about the neckline in the pattern that I read and didn't make much sense to me, but I believe it probably will once I'm actually staring at the things in front of me and that I can see what is going where, I hope. But yeah, I have done this. So you start by knitting the back portion, and yes, so I really like that edging. It's silly. It's a couple of garter and reverse stockinette things so that it rolls at the bottom and hides the cast on edge. And yeah, then you start working the moss stitch panels here. Sort of a lacy rib part. It's not lacy, it's a rib with a big decrease in eyelets. And this twisted stitch cable here. This is 2 repeats. I need to make 8, almost 9. 8 full ones and then a bit of the needs of the 9th one. And yes, I'm really enjoying it. It's not complicated. I sort of have it memorized, but not completely. I still look where to place the... Well, I could just look at it, but it's just because I've been lazy. I've been doing it while watching YouTube or series, so I'm not actually paying much attention. But it's not so complicated, and it really looks beautiful. I'm knitting the smallest size, which gives 130 centimeters bust circumference. It gives a really big one, so there's no need for me to do the larger ones. So I hope it's not going to be too big. I mean, the model looks like she's about my size and it works on them, so I suppose it's okay. And I hope that, so you're knitting the back and then you're knitting the front, and the front is a bit shorter. And I know that a lot of the projects have actually added repeats because it was too short. So I'll try to see if I do that as well. But my thing is, the way it's done, there's a sort of shaping that makes the front go up in the middle and do like this to the side. But there's as well a neckline that is quite wide, and I hope that it's not going to be too low. I would like it to be still on top of my boobs, if I can. Like I will have a shirt, but I don't want it to be on my belly because that just looks bad. So yeah, hopefully it will fit well. But I am very happy with how the pattern is looking, at least. And I am knitting it out of Drops Lima, which is the same blend as Flora, but in a DK weight. And it has a really nice stitch definition. You can't see yet, but it's quite drapey. No, my swatch is too far away, I'm sorry. Because I did swatch for that sweater a long time ago. And it made a really drapey, moss stitchy fabric. And this is the beige colorway. I think the normal beige, because there's a light beige, and I think this is just beige. And yes, it's going to be nice and super wearable color. So yeah, I hope it's going to turn out nicely. So far, it's really pleasant to knit. So this is it for knitting. Yeah, I think it's gonna be quite a short episode because I I don't want to show you just plain stockinette or garter. And I have well, 2 projects that are mostly that, so I need to get on with that. But hopefully, yeah, the fact that I can't film in the next 2 weeks, it means that when I will come back, I will have good progress and new things to show you. I did weave a little bit, so I've done some progress on my scrappy thing. I'm weaving with my hand-dyed and pretty fingering weight yarns. I'm weaving a scrappy wrap shawl thing, and this is what I've done. I've rolled the fabric so you can't really see, but yeah, this is where I'm at now. And I have tension issues, which was expected because if you remember when I warped it, it was ridiculous. It was the most ridiculous warping experience ever. I hated it, and I will totally, completely rethink how I install myself to warp my loom, because no, I'm not doing that again. But what happened is that, do you see this? This is my warp. And if you weave, that's convenient. If you weave, you're probably thinking, Audrey, why is your warp just rolled over on itself? You're supposed to place a piece of cardboard or something to separate the different layers of warp when you roll it, so that it just stays smooth and you're less likely to have tension problems. Well, when I warped it, it just wasn't possible. I just couldn't handle the mess and putting this necessary layer of paper or something to protect my warp. So my warp is just rolled on himself, and that's just... Of course, it's causing tension issues, especially that bit here is much less tension than the rest. So what's happening when I weave is that it's wavy. Can you see? It's kind of wavy. It's still okay and manageable so far. So I'm going for it. I just keep doing it as long as it's working. And yeah, I mean, this is a scrappy project, so it's not by any means meant to look perfect. I just want to use my scraps, and hand-woven fabric looks pretty even when it's imperfect. So I'm hopeful that I will still get something decent. I've done not so much, but a little bit of fabric. What you can see here is, well, you can see Molly Weasley at the bottom, which I've started incorporating. Then I've put in a bit of lace weight. This is Cosmic Strings in the Peony colorway. And yep, right on top of it is Drops Flora Amethyst, the one I used for the dandelions in my mittens. This is some sock yarn I dyed myself, and it my sister's socks out of. This is Cosmic Strings again in their Warrior colorway, which was a mini skein that I had for my Find Your Fade. And this is some lamb's wool by Filda, I think, just pink. But yes, it's wavy, it's scrappy, it's badly tensioned, but it's still working. So as long as it's working, I'm gonna be weaving it. And yeah, it's quite fun to do, picking my scraps in a random order so that it looks even worse. And I've actually thought, while doing it, that I'm going to have a lot of ends to weave in at the ends. But you know, if I can get that long wrap done, washed, well, not washed, just done and out of the loom with a decent fringe, and then I can just take it in front of a movie and weaving the ends. It will take me a while, but I know. It's just how I like to deal with the ends in weaving more. I used to overlay them and cut them short, but it shows. And it's kind of stupid that I don't want to do that while I'm having a really messy, wavy, scrappy weave. Yeah, I have weird standards as to what mess is okay and what mess isn't. But yes, in my completely illogical way, I understand myself. So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this little by little and see where it goes. So that's all I've been making this week. I want to finish this episode with a bit of a yarn show. I have been participating in a couple of swaps. One in particular is wool swap. So the way it works is that you're matched with one person and you send each other a little yarny package. And I have received mine all the way from New Zealand. I don't know why, but whenever I participate in Swatch, I keep getting matched with people from Australia or New Zealand. There's something there, apparently, for me. But yeah, my partner's name was Cheryl, and it was absolutely lovely meeting her. And she's been incredibly generous. I received the parcel a couple of days ago, and I was so happy with it. What I want to share with you is this. She sent me a sweater quantity. So this is a 50 gram skein, so I have 6 total. A sweater quantity of Amuri 4-ply. I think the brand is Naturally, and this is Amuri 4-ply, which is a single yarn, and it is 75% New Zealand merino. New Zealander merino. What's the adjective? Merino from New Zealand. And 25% Possum. Now, I was really curious about Possum. And, it's known to be really soft and warm and to give a bit of a halo, and I was curious about it. And so when I saw that she sent me some, I was quite happy to be able to see what's about it. This color is beautiful. I already know what I'm going to do with it. It's the Bell sweater by Anne something. Begins with a C. I put a picture down here. And I think even though it's a single ply, it's quite well twisted, so I think it's going to have a good stitch definition. I have seen projects on Ravelry made with it that look fairly good in cable-y textured patterns. And yeah, the color is slightly heathered. I think the color is 4025. I don't know. They don't have color names. Oh, there it is. No, 4035. I was almost there. 4035. And I wonder if I'll have to alternate skeins. Batch 1. I guess they're all the same dye lot. Do you think I will have to alternate those? I don't think so. At the same time, I don't want to have a bad surprise. We'll see. This is not in the plans for right now. But what I wanted to talk about is that I was curious about possum fiber. And it's not fiber, it's fur. And yeah, that's the thing. It's really an interesting subject, and if there's anyone here from New Zealand or maybe even Australia, you're kind of familiar with the subject, I would really like to know what you think about possum fiber. I keep doing it, about possum fur. And because yeah, it's used in yarn, but it's also used as fur. Because it is fur, the animal has to die for you to get the thing. So if you don't know, the possums from New Zealand are not supposed to be there. They've been introduced in the 19th century, and I've read different things about why. we've done that. They've been brought, some people say, to manage the rabbits. And yes, I've read an article saying that they've actually been brought precisely to start a fur trade. But the thing is, that was a big mistake. Because they have nothing to do in New Zealand. They don't have predators there. So they seem to be doing quite a lot of damage to the bush and to the other fauna, to the other animals in New Zealand. You know, they kill kiwis, which is outrageous to New Zealanders, I guess. Understandably. Because kiwis are cute, but you know, possums are cute too. And I mean, it's to such an extent that it's treated as an invasion, and I've read things where the possums are like demonized to an extent that it's quite funny from my point of view. I understand if it's a real mess. I mean, it is a problem. But the thing is, I've read an article that shares a cute photo of a possum, you know, and they're like, oh, you think possums are so cute and fluffy like this? And then they say, well, no, their real face is they're evil. Look, they have teeth and they want to bite you and they destroy everything and they're a nasty thing. I'm like, should we care about animals just when they're cute and fluffy? But anyway, so yeah, they're really like presented as this kind of evil thing. They didn't ask to be there. So yeah, the New Zealand industry of fur and stuff is now presenting possum fur as the eco fur, you know, friendly for the environment fur and stuff. It's a nice fur because the animal is mean and you have to kill it anyway, so just use the fur. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel it's a bit stupid, really. It's just, I don't know how you could manage it other than killing them. I've read people saying, well, we could just sterilize them. I don't know how effective that would be on so many little animals. But yeah, the point is there's been a mistake that's done, and now it kind of gives a license to kill. License to kill. Yeah. You know, and it's still fur. You're killing an animal for... That's the thing. Now they're reaching a point where they're saying they're not killing it for the fur. They're killing it because they have to. And I've read like directives directed at the trappers, so that they do it in, I mean, the most humanly way possible. I understand that you have to deal with that. There's a problem. There's been a mistake that's done, and you have to deal with it now. But yeah, I just hope and wish that it's done in a proper way. I've read things like they're supposed to come back daily to the traps so that the animal doesn't just stay there. They're supposed to use a certain type of traps that isn't harmful to other kind of animals. Because, I mean, if you're setting traps and you're killing kiwis because you want to kill the possums that are killing the kiwis, that's a bit stupid. And yeah, the thing is, I want to... Of course, you'd like to think that people have good intentions, but in the end, you're still making profit out of that fur. So no matter what problem and reality that you were kind of hiding behind, it's still fur, and the fact that these animals are making a mess is not a reason, good enough a reason. There's no good enough a reason to just completely make a massacre with them. So yeah, I have possum yarn. It's like leather to me. I have shoes and one old bag that I bought a long time ago that are made of leather. And, you know, I wouldn't buy leather things now. But I'm not going to throw away the things I have and not wear them anymore because I don't want to waste. That's the thing. I don't want to waste. And if I were to buy a new pair of sneakers that would be completely made of cotton, or I don't know, well, it would still have an impact on the environment, you know, the production of those shoes, even if they're vegan. And I would feel like I'm wasting something because I don't necessarily need them. And I feel the same about this yarn. I will make it into a sweater that I will wear because I don't want to waste it. And it's there. The fur is there. Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, I wouldn't intentionally buy Possum 5. But I have it. I'm not gonna let it go to waste. That's the thing. I don't know how to end this discussion. I think it's kind of my trademark, you know, starting topics and things and just throwing at you everything that I'm thinking or trying to figure out, and then just not having a sense made out of it whatsoever. But you know, that's how I am. So this is it for this week's episode. I am going to go take care of my sick puppy, which I hope is not going to be sick again today. And I will sort of see you next week for the first project focused, because this is how my new video series will be called, for this first project focused video sometime next week. And for a regular podcast episode, we will see each other in a couple of weeks. So have a lovely day, night and week, and I will see you next time. Bye!